all eyes around the state, around the country, around the world are on the Indiana Fever. And Bria, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Caitlin Clark didn't just open her sophomore WNBA season with a bang. She detonated a record book. In just her 41st professional game, she did something that took Diana Taurasi, the league's all-time leading scorer, 565 games to achieve. That's not just impressive, that's borderline absurd. Clark's 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists weren't just stats. They were a statement, a warning to the league that whatever expectations existed for her second year weren't nearly high enough.
There it is! A triple.
This wasn't just another triple-double. It was the fastest any player has reached 3 of them in WNBA history. And here's what's even more staggering. She tied Alyssa Thomas for the second most 20-point triple-doubles in league history. Let that sink in. She's already tied that mark, just over 40 games into her career. This isn't supposed to happen. The WNBA isn't built for a second-year point guard to come in and bend the arc of history like this. But Clark is doing just that, rewriting the standards by which we measure greatness.
Having the Fever organization be what it is today, like, it is just so fun to be a part of. There's been a lot of anticipation.
You've done a great job in training camp leading to this moment. Enjoy it. Okay, go out there and have some.
And the numbers don't stop there. 9 games with 20-plus points and 10-plus assists. Only one player in WNBA history has more, and Clark reached that number in fewer games than anyone else by hundreds. The pace she's on isn't just elite, it's generational. We're watching someone who's collapsing the timeline, accelerating what should take a decade into a matter of months. But as jaw-dropping as her performance was, it wasn't the only historic feat that night.
Bonner is the 4th all-time leading scorer in WNBA history, and in her first game with the Fever, will likely move into 3rd all-time. She's currently just 6 points behind Tina Thompson for 3rd on the all-time scoring charts.
While Caitlin Clark was setting the league on fire, another piece of history quietly unfolded. Diana Bonner, a veteran whose name has echoed through the WNBA since 2009, stepped onto the court needing just 7 points to etch her name even deeper into the league's legacy. As all eyes focused on the feverish Clark hype, Bonner stood on the verge of becoming the 3rd highest scorer in WNBA history, an achievement 15 years in the making.
Bonner, who knocks it away, cookies, TV, open court, right side, and she lays it in!
And she didn't do it with a flashy dunk or buzzer-beater 3. She did it with grace. 2 trips to the free throw line. The first one? Nothing but net. The second? A soft swish, sending her past Tina Thompson with 7,489 career points. The crowd erupted, not just because of the milestone, but because of the moment. In the middle of a media storm surrounding the Fever's youth movement, Bonner reminded everyone that greatness doesn't always shout. Sometimes it walks quietly, then rewrites the record books.
One more free throw for Bonner. It's in the air, and it's good. Diana Bonner now 3rd in WNBA history in scoring. 7,489 points and counting. Lord, and here's the ovation for Bonner.
Bonner isn't just chasing personal glory. She's a 6-time All-Star, a 2-time champion, and now a leader on a young Fever team that desperately needs experience. When she speaks, rookies and rising stars like Clark and Aaliyah Boston stop and listen. Her leadership in the locker room is just as impactful as her presence on the court. That night, she didn't just climb a list, she planted a flag. And in doing so, she helped lay the foundation for what might be the most balanced roster in the league.
DB is somebody that, he's a Hall of Famer, like a legend, not only a good basketball player, a great person, a great leader. The strongest voice in our locker room is hers. And it's fun to have been around here now for about a month just to get to learn from her and soak it in. And I'm really happy she got to do it at the free throw line and all the fans could go crazy and cheer for her because she certainly deserved that moment. And it was really awesome to see and be a part of.
There was a time when people questioned whether Aaliyah Boston could dominate at the next level. Some even doubted whether she could hold her own against elite front courts like Chicago's. That noise got a whole lot quieter after opening night. Facing off against fellow South Carolina alum Angel Reese, who had spent the week talking about owning the matchup, Boston didn't just answer critics. She buried them. From the opening tip, Boston controlled the paint with a presence that was impossible to ignore. She racked up 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks, becoming just the second player in WNBA history to post 15-plus points, 10-plus boards, and 5-plus blocks in a season opener. Her timing? Impeccable. Her footwork? Unshakable. She wasn't just defending. She was erasing shot attempts, one swat at a time, sending Chicago players into full retreat.
All right, y'all. Hey, good stuff. Okay, we did a lot of really good things. I thought our defense was really good, and when we had lapses, we played through possessions. All right, so we made things happen. Y'all, overall, just hell of an effort.
By the time the game ended, Boston had moved into the top 10 in rebounds in Fever franchise history in just her third season. Her performance wasn't just a highlight, it was a warning, a declaration that she's not just here to play alongside Clark, she's here to dominate beside her. The Boston-Clark duo isn't theoretical anymore, it's terrifyingly real. And ahead of schedule. Defense wins championships, and if this game was any indication, Indiana is already in postseason form. It started with Boston, of course. Her 5 blocks were the kind that left fans gasping. But what no one expected was Caitlin Clark turning into a shot-blocking force of her own. 4 blocks, a career high. The most ever by a point guard in a WNBA season opener.
Yes, great job of those long arms of Aaliyah Boston here, going up multiple times and then...
And these weren't cheap swipes. These were emphatic, energy-shifting rejections that ignited the crowd and demoralized Chicago. The kind of defense that tells an opponent, "You're not getting anything easy tonight." When Clark wasn't launching logo threes, she was getting her hands dirty, denying drives and contesting shots like a seasoned defender. It was a side of her game few had seen, and it stunned everyone.
Hit it once, I'll hit it again. Pow, pow, pow! Fever dub.
Together, Clark and Boston combined for 9 blocks, the most by any duo in a WNBA opening night game. Let that sink in. A point guard and center outblocked entire front courts. This isn't just chemistry, it's synergy. The defensive bond between the two is growing faster than anyone predicted, and if this is just the beginning, the league should be very, very worried.
Ready for the season to tip off. It's the Fever against the Chicago Sky. We saw record crowds a season ago, and I'd say they are back and raring to go in 2025.
This game wasn't just about stats. It was about identity. The Indiana Fever, once a team stuck in a cycle of rebuilding, now look like a franchise on the rise. The veterans, the rookies, the role players, everyone clicked. And at the center of it all was Diana Taurasi, who isn't just a scoring machine, but the voice of the locker room. Her leadership isn't subtle. It's undeniable.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the Chicago Sky in a blowout victory, and I have 3 words. Oh my God. Or now you know.
Clark, Boston, Mitchell, Hall, they're listening. They're absorbing what it takes to win not just games, but championships. You can see it in the huddles. You can hear it in the post-game interviews. Bonner speaks, and the young stars lean in. This mix of championship experience and raw, explosive talent isn't just rare, it's dangerous. What we're witnessing is more than just player development. It's a culture shift, a new era. The Fever no longer resemble a team trying to find its way. They look like a unit ready to contend, disrupt, and dismantle. And it's all happening faster than anyone expected.
Not the first one in your career, but you had 4 blocks out there. That's more than you ever had in college. Matches your WNBA career high. Felt like you were channeling the spirit of Gabby Marshall out there with the blocks. Is that a part of your game that you've been working on the postseason? Are we going to see more blocks out of you as your career rolls on?
Not really.
Let's talk numbers. 11 records were broken in one night. 11. That's not just historic. It's a statistical mic drop. From Clark's triple-double to the Clark-Boston block record, to Bonner becoming the 3rd all-time scorer, the Indiana Fever made sure May 2025 would go down as one of the most significant nights in league history.
I don't know. I felt like I had active hands. I had some pokes when our post players were playing good defense, and coaching staff has just challenged me to try to be a better defender every single practice and just getting better in that area. I still feel like there's a lot of room for me to improve. I don't think any of those blocks were too obvious. You look at the stat sheet, it's like, oh wow, 4, but you can get your hand on there and help your teammate out. It makes the world of a difference. So
they didn't just win, they demolished. A 35-point beatdown of the Chicago Sky. That's the 2nd largest margin of victory in Fever franchise history. The ball movement was elite. The defensive rotations were textbook. The spacing, flawless. These are things teams usually struggle to develop after months, sometimes years, of gelling. The Fever had it all clicking on night 1.
There it is! A triple.
This wasn't just a good night. This was an outlier performance, or at least it should have been. But based on the way this team is built, it feels more like a preview, a glimpse into what might become the new norm in Indiana. And if that's the case, the rest of the WNBA might be in serious trouble.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar, not a female superstar. She is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle.
Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's a comet, blazing through every expectation and breaking records at a pace that defies belief. Aaliyah Boston isn't just holding down the paint, she's dominating it with the poise of a veteran. And the Indiana Fever? They're no longer a rebuilding franchise. They're a super team in the making.
She just absolutely did it all and became a magnet for attention and an icon for sports fans, certainly little girls, certainly mine as well, playing her basketball and watching her play.
This isn't hype. It's not speculation. It's math. If Clark keeps this pace, she'll rewrite every major record in WNBA history. Points, assists, triple-doubles, you name it. And she's doing it with a team that's only getting better. Boston is entering her prime. Bonner is providing leadership and playoff DNA. Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, and the rest of the squad are rising at the perfect time.
Well, the regular season is here, and we have no more time for flirting, folks. We have no more time. It's time to get serious about our business. And Caitlin Clark handled her business game 1. 20, 10, and 10. 20, 10, and 10. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, what did the kids say? Belt to ass? Oh yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Indiana Fever destroy, obliterate, run out of the gym the Chicago Sky. 93-58.
The Fever didn't just beat the Sky. They delivered a message. 11 records shattered. A 35-point win. And the scariest part? This team is just getting started. This could be the beginning of a decade of dominance. The question isn't whether Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever will break more records this season. The question is, how many will be left standing when they're done?